day. Like, it's not even lunchtime and like 9 people have asked you how tall you are. I think that's probably where it really gets irritating. But
I wouldn't know I'm 5'8", so I would not.
That counts as 6 foot, Matt, if anyone ever asks. Just
rounding up, baby.
6 foot in Tim's.
Love it.
So, Carson, one of the things that's been really intriguing about obviously our whole journey here is at the end of your recruitment, sort of the last month or so, at least to Michigan State fans and us in the recruiting circles, we kind of were not expecting Michigan State to add another high school big man. And suddenly out of nowhere, here's Coach Izzo taking a risk on you all the way down in Florida. Not that many offers. Obviously, as you know, recruiting these days, everyone's looking at rankings and offers and all of that. How can you kind of detail that month for you? And was it expected when Coach Izzo reached out? What was your plan instead if Michigan State didn't reach out? What was that month like for you? I guess the final month of your recruitment.
No, it was a it was a really stressful month just because like I had to make a big decision. My two decisions were pretty simple for me. Honestly, it was take one of my mid-major offers I had.
Okay.
Or do a post-grad year and play for the IMG national team. And I think at that time I was kind of moving towards the post-grad team just because I knew like I wanted to play at like the high major level.
Right.
So then I ended up, I was playing with the Florida Rebels to kind of like see what I could get sparked. And then like Izzo came out to one of the showcases, like me not thinking anything of it. I was like, oh my God, like Izzo's here. Like he's probably looking at like one of our other players, and then like I don't know, a week later, we assistant reached out to me, and it was insane. Like that, like he came down, talked to me, he said like he wanted to get down and see me work out. Came down. It was kind of funny. He told me he was really happy what he saw, but he couldn't tell me for sure if they had a scholarship available. So he was kind of waiting to see if he went back, and Izzo was like still like okay with bringing me on.
Right.
But like obviously it was like really late, so like after I got on campus for my official, like I knew for sure. I knew coming up to my official that it was
right.
Like this is where I was going. But no, it was like unreal just how quickly everything happened, and to see like everyone's reactions, because it was there were some positive and negatives out there, but it was pretty cool.
So speaking of quick, how quick was it from you getting the offer from Michigan State to you saying, yeah, that sounds about, let's go for it? Was it like within the hour? Was it within a day? Or how quick was this turnaround for you?
No, it was probably the same phone call with the assistant that I had on there with Coach Woj. He was talking to me about it, and he was like, Loki was like getting intimidated talking with him because he was so like, he was kind of coming off as a little arrogant a little bit, but like at this level you have to be to like really get what you need out of these guys. So he was really grilling me like, I need to make sure like this is what you want to do, like this is where you want to play, and I was like, yeah, like this is what I want. So he like I basically told him that first phone call like this is what I want to do. So
easy as that.
That's a great story right there. And I know back then some fans were kind of saying, oh, Michigan State needs to go to the portal. They need to go to the portal. So when they saw that Izzo went after you, I think that's kind of why some of the negative reactions were there. But now, kind of after seeing you in that USC game and just the season you had, I think a lot of people are starting to see why Coach Izzo went the direction that he did and the long-term potential and the contributions you can make. But I guess coming into this season, I don't know what you thought the plan was, but I know Coach Izzo was saying to media that possibly redshirting was an option. Then as you had spent more and more time on campus and the season was getting closer, he was starting to walk that back. And he's saying, no, like this is a kid that can kind of play probably sooner than we thought. What was kind of the plan from when you got on campus, and how long after that did it change? Or was there really not ever a plan and you were just like, hey, we'll see what happens?
Yeah, like I call myself like a humble guy, but when I got on campus, like I knew that redshirting was like the plan, and I was 100% okay with that. Like a full year of development with Michigan State would have been like it would have been fine. Like, But for me, I just kept thinking like I'm in this position, like I'm just gonna keep working, see what happens. Like just try to show people that like some things they haven't seen on the basketball court in high school and AAU. So like during the summer, I just like worked my butt off and showed them that I could kind of compete at this level, and then obviously it worked out in the end for me. But
I would say so. Yeah. So you're kind of learning on the fly here, developing throughout your year. We love breaking people's game down, of course, but let's talk to the guy himself. Where do you think you improved the most at throughout this season in your freshman year?
Honestly, I would say that just my overall confidence and feel for like playing with these guys was probably the biggest thing I could take away. Obviously, the bigs this year weren't the main scoring option.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think defensively, like me being able to get on the court and play some four in this season was really helpful. Being able to like defend against other guys and be like a shot blocker at the rim, I think that was a big step for me to get on the court. Even though like I'm not going to be like the main scoring option, which is I'm okay with that. But just anything I can do to get some minutes. So
sure.
Yeah. So I guess kind of going through that whole development and getting better each day, it led you to that great stretch of minutes that you had, or just the whole great game actually against USC. What was that like? What was going through your head when you saw yourself just consistently playing great defense, getting rebounds, kind of everything coming to fruition for you, all your hard work? What was that like?
I mean, yeah, it was unreal. I just kept thinking in the locker room after the game, I was like, a year ago, like I didn't know where I was playing, and now I'm like contributing to March Madness games, like to go to a Sweet 16. I'm like, so it was just unreal, like a dream kind of. But at the same time, I didn't really think about that when I was playing. I just thought about it as like another game, and then like obviously it just kept coming to me, and then I just kind of let my confidence and take over a little bit, and I think that's when I put my best basketball.
Yeah.
Now, I got a serious question first, but before that, I need you to get me out of jail here, Carson. So I'm an older guy. I'm washed. I got a kid, all that good stuff. And that USC game was during my kid's nap time, and I was quiet for the most part. Your tip slam, though, it wasn't a yell. It wasn't a shriek. It was like some noise that a human's never made before. I did it at the top of my lungs, and this is as like my kid was going down. My wife wasn't thrilled necessarily with my behavior, and then I think I said to her, like, blame Carson Cooper. He just did that. So, do you mind apologizing? Do you mind wearing this for me? I know we just met, but
yeah, I'll take it.
Thank you. Okay.
You can show this to your wife. Like that's my bad. I'll take that one.
Okay, I'm glad I'm vindicated that. And on a serious note, hey, what are you going to work on for this off season? I mean, is it just refining the post moves? Is it? I saw on Twitter before the Sweet 16 game that you're knocking a 3 or 2 down Madison Square Garden. Is that going to be part of your package, or what is the biggest emphasis for you in this off season here?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We had our team evaluation, like end of the year evaluation meetings with Coach today. So it was really cool to sit down with him and have a little like session where he kind of talked to me about what I need to really work on. But for him, it was a lot more weight room. So getting in the weight room, trying to gain, he's 12 to 15 pounds, but still be able to move my feet as well as I can. So that's going to be a big focal point this summer. But basketball wise, I'd probably say like, getting, hopefully we can start knocking down some threes, but I'd say we probably work from 15 feet. Yeah. And then get a little confidence down in the post. So I think just like offensively, it's gonna be a big summer for me to work, just like all around.
So by 2024 in Maui, like that's when you're gonna start splashing baseline threes home. Got it. Okay, I'm gonna jot that down here really quick. All right, I like that.
So Carson, what? I mean, you don't have to tell us the specifics of your conversation, but what kind of goes on at these exit meetings? Is it just pretty much, hey, what can I do to get better, or are there other topics? Like, what is the general sort of takeaways from these sort of meetings at the end of the year?
Yeah, it's really about how you thought you did this year. You kind of, you want what you thought, and then, like, what do you think you're struggling with? Being able to find out, like, what your weaknesses are and self-evaluate. What he tells us is the hardest thing to do. And then, just, tell us what we want to hear and what we want to get better at, what he thinks we should get better at. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. But
okay.
And I saw here on the bio on MSUSpartans.com that your first job was making pizzas, which that's what I'm talking about right there. What's more difficult? Is it dealing with a crabby customer that doesn't love their pizza, or is it guarding someone like Zach Edey? Like, what's more difficult in your opinion between the two?
I don't know. I've gotten distracted a couple times making pizzas, and it's been kind of stressful. But no, I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't guard Zach Edey and guys like that. I'd say Big Ten bigs were the best in the country this year.
Yes.
So
Yeah, correct.
Me being a freshman and guarding those players like Trace and Zach and Hunter, every possession I'm guarding them is really making me better. And that's why I didn't want to redshirt after that, just because I knew every experience and every moment I was on the court is gonna help in the future. But
right on.
But yeah, Little Caesars was the spot. That was where I was at.
That is my favorite spot. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
I got a new favorite player on the team. I think.
There's not a week that goes by where Sheehan doesn't tweet a picture of Little Caesars out and saying my life is a movie.
Yeah.
Every single week. That's just what his brand has become.
I'm smashing some this Friday and probably Saturday too, if we're gonna be honest. Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't had Little Caesars since I quit there. I think I had too much.
Dang it. Shoot. Well, there you go. Well, hey, catch me rocking a 15 jersey, but on the back it says Caesars at Breslin Center next year. It's going to be sick.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think, Shane, you got a couple more fun questions for Carson as well.
Well, the bio wasn't done at the pizza making. It lists that you have driving stick shift as a hidden talent. I don't even have a creative question for that. Just what? How? What? How did that even come to be? Tell me about that. How that came up.
Yeah. So my mom's side of the family, my grandpa and both my uncles, they basically grew up working on cars. My grandpa's 67, 68, still works on cars. That's his thing. So he's got all he's got all the fun toys over at his house. So I probably learned when I was probably 12 or 13 really how to get the basics down, and then it started off with some junker car that I don't think had 2 doors on it. It was just a snap of battle. We were driving up and down his long driveway, and then once I got some confidence there, I got to hop in his Corvette a couple times and drive that. And so it was just I don't know. It's a fun talent I got to pick up early, and I'm low-key glad I got to learn it. So I don't know.
I can barely drive automatic, so that's impressive, man. That's incredible. I got 2 quick questions, and we're going back to the bio here. It says your favorite movie is Wolf of Wall Street. A nice little family-friendly movie right there. Teammate most likely to turn into Jordan Belfort, if you had to put it on one person, minus the drugs and everything like that. Just financial. Who's financially driven on this team? That's what we're looking for.
Man, honestly, I'd probably say Malik, just because I feel like he's just the more straightforward, mentally strong guy to just always want to get to the next step. But how the mental part, I'd probably say AJ, just how crazy he was. He was always always talking, always doing something. But I don't know.
Yeah. So Malik or AJ will be the next Matt Ispia, and we expect a $32 million donation in 25 years.
Mark it down. Actually, Sharpie it down. So last thing I got for you. You mentioned that you're trying to gain 12 to 15 pounds in the offseason. I'm sure that's muscle. I'm sure that's lifting. But let's say hypothetically we had to do it off food in East Lansing. What is your strategy here? Do you lock yourself in Brody for a week? Do you go to Barrio, Justin's favorite, or
Eastside Fish Fry?
Eastside Fish Fry. Are we going to crawl
No,
back to Little
you already
Caesars?
got me. You already got me at Barrio.
There we go.
I've spent too much money there. I think. They keep getting me with those raised prices, but I'll go
What's
there.
The go-to Barrio order?
I'm a hard shell guy, but I like the shrimp and Coca-Cola marinated steak over there. I like to pull up on the protein and add some salsa and rice. So I don't know. I can, if after a practice, I can go down there and probably devour 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, I haven't been back to East Lansing in the last like 2 years without going back to Barrio. Like every single trip in the last two years, I've had a Barrio stop. It's always the same order: the bombshell, that's with the bacon and the hard shell and the soft shell, all wrapped on the outside. The spice rub chicken, crack sauce, whatever else you want to put in, whatever. But those are the fundamental pillars of my order that never change.
Yeah,
and
that's
can't go wrong with those.
That's where they took me for my first dinner on my official. That's where they took me with the coaches and everything. That was my first official dinner in East Lansing. Barrio. It was amazing.
Yeah, I would have committed on the spot too.
And I believe his roommate Jackson Kohler also said the same thing about Barrio. He loves it. We're doing a full court press now to get Barrio to throw an NIL deal out here
as we should
to these two gentlemen here. So we're gonna try.
We'll clip this up. Send
I got
it to
minimal
management.
pull, but I'm gonna try my best. So we're gonna see what we can do here.
Yeah.
So for my new favorite player on the team, that's right, Mr. Little Caesars himself.
Yeah.
Carson Cooper. That's right.
Carson, my last question for you: if you had to guess, how many clipboards has Coach Izzo broken since you've gotten to campus? And then we'll tell you what Jackson said. So we'll see how off you guys are on your guesses.
We're going to be in the middle here.
Man, I'd say he'd probably break one every other game.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's 17 right
which
there.
probably isn't as bad as you think, but yeah, probably. I'd probably say 15 to be honest.
Oh, okay. That's perfect. Jackson said 12 to 15, didn't he?
Well, you guys are on the same wavelength then.
That's perfect.
I think
then.
so.
We got a double source. Perfect.
There we go. Nice. There we go. Well, Carson,
he makes up for it. He makes up for it when he goes. Oh, sorry. He makes up for it when he goes. When I think he broke 3 in the Purdue game. So that was.
That's a tough day at the office.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sure she and you broke some things that day too.
No, just my heart. That's all. That's all. I took it just silently. That's okay. Like a well-adjusted adult.
Well-adjusted adult. Yeah. Actually, Carson, one last question because Coach Izzo, bringing him up, just kind of put this in my head. What can you say about Coach Izzo to people that kind of just wonder what he is like from the outside? Someone that took a shot on you when a lot of people across the country, you said mid-major kind of was your other option. So there were all these other programs that had a chance, probably saw you, didn't offer you. Just thinking about it from that perspective and kind of the chance he took on you, how would you describe Coach Izzo?
That's probably one of the guys I respect most, like, that I've ever met, just because of the fact that, like what you said, like he took a chance on me. Like my numbers really didn't make up for what people thought would Michigan State big would look like just out of high school. But the fact that he respected my move to IMG away from home, and he loved that I was like from Jackson, like 30 minutes away, like why would I transfer out from somewhere that I grew up around? But even those days that he gets a little chippy at you and all that, you just always got to think that he's doing it for the best of you. He's doing it for your future, because he wants the best for you. But
yeah. Great stuff. Well, Carson, we're excited that you're here. We're excited that Coach Izzo took that chance. We're excited that you decided to take the leap of faith and come to Michigan State, and looking forward to all that you can accomplish in the coming years, and hopefully we can have you on soon.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys' time tonight. It's fun to be on.
We'll try to connect you and Barrio together. We'll see. We'll try our best. We're gonna try.
Appreciate
that'd be
it,
awesome.
Carson.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's a well-deserved offseason coming for that young man and a lot of those players on the team. Because that's a long season, 34 games. Yeah. That's a while. Goes into March. So well-deserved.
As it does around here. As it does,
typically. Yeah, that's kind of a trend here. And the right March tournament, too.
Right.
That's right. You want to be on the right side of things.
Not the not invited tournament. But
negative, right.
Carson Cooper, just a story there of Izzo going to IMG with, I think it was after even the late signing period, going ahead and getting someone who, as he even kind of said, his options were to do a post-grad year at IMG or go the mid-major route. Yeah. And he's coming in here. He's playing against USC in the round of 64, locking guys down on defense, getting putbacks and rebounds on offense. Just the story there and the quick development arc there, I think that right there shows you kind of the Izzo way. Everyone else can be yelling about the portal. Everyone else can be going around throwing backs to 5 stars that don't really do much even at Duke. Sure. And you suddenly have a kid here that really everyone overlooked. Coach Izzo said, hey, I'm going to bet on this kid. I don't care what anyone on social media says. I don't care what any of the reports say. I don't care about his rankings. I don't care about his offers. And that's kind of why he is who he is. And Carson has done a great job already kind of giving some return on investment with that decision by Coach Izzo. And you can tell by just his mindset. You can tell by his measurables, by the taste we saw against USC, that he's well on his way to having a successful career here at Michigan State, I would say.
And I just love the beginning of that story, too, where, hey, Izzo's here at IMG. That's cool. Wonder who's here to see. Oh, it's me. Oh, my. How about that? So, no, that's a really cool story, really great. And, yeah, of course, a hometown kid. I mean, everyone thinks IMG. Oh, from Florida. Like, no, that's Jackson, Michigan. That is right in Izzo's backyard, so to speak. So, yeah, awesome to see him thrive. And it's hard to wrap up a season better than having your best game of your freshman season than in the NCAA tournament against USC.
Peaking at the right time, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. So, where do you want to steer the conversation next, Justin? Where are you going to drive this car? Do you do stick shift or no?
No, I do not. It took me 3 days to put the bumper back on my car after I decided to do a do-it-yourself project that wasn't exactly do-it-yourself. So
sweet.
That's the last time I will be playing around with, I don't even know what those types of wrenches are called, so I cannot even finish that sentiment. That tells you why it took me 3 days to put it back together.
Perfect. There we go. Nice.
So, no, absolutely not a stick shift guy.
Okay.
Not a car guy. Anyone that is a car guy or a car person, honestly, what are you doing? Well, why?
Okay.
Come up with a better hobby with your time.
The masochist. That's right.
I don't know. What were we talking about before I got infuriated by my last 3 days?
End of the basketball season, or just looking ahead to next one? Where do you want to steer this car?
I think we can put a bow on the previous kind of season that just ended, and whether they met expectations or things of that nature. Then we can kind of talk about next year.
Sure. Yeah.
So I guess, Matt, before the season started, what was your expectation of Michigan State?
Do you want me to describe the season, or because that's pretty much what happened here? Like double bye in the Big Ten tournament, and obviously, that didn't go great necessarily, but yeah, double bye in the Big Ten tournament. Of course, you wanted them to be at the top of the Big Ten. I think asking them to win the whole thing may have been a stretch. I know other fans feel differently than that. This is Michigan State after all. You do expect banners in the rafters after every season, but based on where this team was, not just last year, but the last 2 years, we just needed a step back to normalcy in any way. And that also included getting out of the first weekend in March. Michigan State ended the season just outside the top 25. They ended the season as one of the 16 teams standing. And also, too, before the tournament even starts, in the AP poll, Andy Katz had a ranking, the coaches poll, like MSU was, once again, just right on the outside of the top 25. So, yes, we had the ups of, oh my God, the Kentucky game. Oh, this is great. They did awesome. They just barely lost to Gonzaga, who's also a top 3 team, so we thought really high. And then you had the low lows during the injury slumps, and then at the end, you put all those ingredients together, and well, it spit out what everyone thought this season would be. And luckily, this did progress past the first weekend. Got that short little itty-bitty streak broken. So, that's kind of what my expectations were.
Very well said. For me, I kind of had 3 check boxes on what I wanted to see out of this season. The first one was finish in the top 4 of the Big Ten. I think I predicted them to finish exactly 4th before the – I think they did finish 4th because they were the last double bye. I was wrong on where Illinois would finish. I thought it would be Purdue and Illinois at the top 2. And then I figured somebody else from that bunch of logjam teams would finish 3rd, and then Michigan State 4th. So they checked that box. Ending that 2-tournament streak of not having gone past the first weekend was the second thing on my list. And third was significant development from one of the 3 kind of question mark centers coming into this year, so that we have a clear direction at center. I don't know if a particular center emerged from the mix above the rest, but you saw strides from all 3 of them, and I think you see potential with these guys. So I would say that's mostly a check mark there as well. So for me, the season pretty much met expectations in that regard. I know as the season begins to wrap up and you start to believe in slightly higher expectations than maybe you came into the season with, that might lead to a little bit of disappointment at the end. Like, for example, if you go to overtime against that Kansas State team and you're starting to see the rest of the field, which, first of all, I think that people have very underestimated Florida Atlantic.
They're a squad.
Right. The sentiment that, Michigan State was an overtime away from playing in the national title game possibly, I don't put any sort of stock in that. I think that you can say they had a shot, a very good shot.
Yeah.
But this is not any sort of a guarantee. Florida Atlantic, before the tournament even started, was 13th in net. Before they picked up these wins against the Tennessees of the world.
It's crazy.
They had the tied most amount of wins in all of college basketball with Houston before the tournament started.
Yep.
They were drastically underseeded as a 9. So this was a team that very well easily could have beaten Michigan State. They were more well-rounded than Kansas State.
Yeah.
And the San Diego State team that's now playing in the Final Four.
Deep.
Just tons and tons of seniors.
Deep.
I think their top 9 leading scorers are seniors, if I'm not mistaken. Beat the top overall seed in Alabama. So I don't really look at it as a huge wasted opportunity. Possibly you could say, hey, there was a shot to get a 9th Final Four here.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking at this season as, oh my gosh, they could have won Izzo second in any way, shape, or form. There's some great teams coming out there from the West. Now, UConn was the one that ended up being that team. I think UConn's going to win the national title if I had to predict it today. And even if it wasn't UConn and you run the simulation again, whether it's Gonzaga or UCLA even, I'm not ready to say Michigan State is just head and shoulders better than some of those teams. So for me at the end, I don't know if it was that disappointing as some make it seem. I can see some wasted opportunity left there, but as a whole, putting a bow on the season, no complaints for me.
No, I get it. And with that said, is it too early to start talking about
it is not too early.
Next season expectations?
We were talking about next season's expectations before this season, even this past season.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So what is it going to have to be for you? Because for me, I'll keep it very short. You got to win one of 2 banners, the Big Ten regular season title or a Final Four, to deem it a success. And I know that's lofty. That's high expectations. Let's not get it twisted here. I know I'm asking a lot here as a fan, just sitting behind a microphone, but I kind of see the vision for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it kind of depends on who comes back.
That's fair. I guess I should be a little patient. Yeah.
But I believe if you're kind of thinking, hey, Tyson Walker is most likely back, and then the guys that are coming in can hold a lot of minutes, give a lot of depth that Michigan State hasn't had the last few years, then I guess you can kind of start having those high expectations, because you look at Tyson Walker and AJ Hogarth coming back, 2 senior guards, one who's a 5th-year senior guard. What's the formula to success in March for the most part, Matt? Senior guards.
Guards by any chance? Yeah.
Senior guards.
I would say so.
So we're looking at those 2 guys there. You're going to have, I guess, the 4 spot is kind of a little question mark, but Xavier Booker, possibly Malik Hall, maybe a transfer now that Pierre Brooks has entered the portal. That position, I think, can take care of itself to the point where you have Akins, Walker, Hogarth most likely at the other 3 spots. That team can win the Big Ten next year. I believe so.
I would say so.
And I don't know. I think you get one of these guys at center to make a pretty big leap, or Booker comes in and plays a little better than I'm expecting. I think he's a little more of a work in progress than some people realize. But if one of those 2 things happen, I think a Final Four is definitely there. And hey, why not a national title? I guess if you look at kind of the formula behind good defense, good backcourt, senior leadership, continuity. I don't know. I think it's too early to say that's an expectations. You should never say we expect to win a national title, especially in a format of the NCAA tournament. But I think winning a banner next year is a good way to articulate it by you.
Can I be a greedy fan for one more thing on my list?
No, you can't.
Okay, on the next topic.
Go ahead.
Get a seed, a 1 seed or a 2 seed, or maybe a 3 seed if the committee's nice to you, that gets you in that Detroit region. I want to see the boys play at Little Caesars Arena again. However, Arena. Little Caesars Place. With that, I would like it to not end like the 2018 game I was at, but I would like to get back to the regional, the hometown, make it the hometown team as you hopefully carve your way to a Final
That's a very good point. That's an opportunity that's there.
I tried.
You would like to take advantage of that.
Just thinking like a fan, which is what I think I do best. So just selfish is what I'm doing.
I think
be very selfish.
I think we see, I guess, all across the tournament, kind of there's teams that are close by and they get the fan support, and these teams like USC wake up, play a noon game, local time, coming all the way across the country. I don't know if that played a role in the outcome, but
it didn't hurt.
It can't hurt.
It didn't hurt.
You'll take that. So I think that's something that they would be wise to take advantage of and set themselves up with some consistent play towards the end of the regular season for sure.
Switching sports time?
I think it is that time.
Or are we going to the gridiron?
The gridiron,
because it's spring ball time, baby. That's right. Oh, God.
Fun times.
It just never ends here in East Lansing, does it?
Nope.
One sport to the next. There are some position battles. There are some storylines. There were some quotes said by Jay Johnson. Where do you want to take this first? Do you want to talk position battles? Do we talk about the number one position battle in everyone's mind, quarterbacks, or do we work our way up there? What do you want to do here?
Yeah, I think any of those places are good to start. Probably, I guess the quarterback position is the one on everyone's mind.
Cut to the chase.
I guess for me, the most important position battle would be punter, but oh well, I guess that's not what the people want.
You joke about that, but kind of having both eyes on that battle, big time.
I think
scared.
We'll see. I think Ryan Eckley, I believe. I think we'll see.
Is he
see
him?
What he can do.
We'll
see. We'll find out. Well, I don't want to speak out of turn yet, but
okay.
Learning under Behringer for a year, I think might have gotten him ready, but we'll see.
Cannot help, or cannot hurt, I should say.
Yeah.
Cannot hurt.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, quarterback position, as you alluded to, the quote by Jay Johnson, saying Caton Hauser took a big step in the first scrimmage, but they're not in any rush to announce a winner, and the fact that all three quarterbacks are taking equal reps. I believe that was the gist of his comments. So that kind of puts a bow on where that battle stands right now, one scrimmage in.
Yep.
I guess, Matt, what are you kind of hoping to hear, or what are your expectations before the fall? And then I'll kind of tell you if that is something that we can hopefully see as attainable or not by then.
I just want the best guy to win the job.
Okay.
How about that? Was that good?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I think I follow the majority of the fan base here, and I am intrigued by the future of perhaps Caton Hauser.
Right.
So with that said, though, okay, if Peyton wins the job, then I think he's clearly earned the job. I don't think they're just going to hand away the job all willy-nilly because, he's the oldest guy here. No, clearly there is something to be said if he wins the job. And Jay Johnson also said, too, that, Peyton has a little bit more in his ceiling that we're going to see if he could hit in this offseason. But, yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Noah Kim. He did play solid when he came in last year, but yeah, I am a little twinkly-eyed at, the big next thing, and that is the 4-star from California, Caton Hauser. And, you hear about the arm talent. You hear that, from Jay Johnson, things are slowing down for him. You heard that he shined at the scrimmage last weekend, pretty solid numbers in the weight room as well. And it's like, you know what? Maybe this is a time to flip the page. And also, it's exciting for this year, but also, that means that even next year, it'll be even better. And dare I say, the year after that could be even better. So just let's start the growth right now. It's kind of where I'm at, but then again, if it comes out that either Kim or Thorne has won this thing, I mean, I'm not going to be throwing my coffee mug against the drywall. I'll be like, wow, okay.
Not until the first incompletion of week one, that is.
Yeah, on like a 40-yard bomb, that just is right outside the fingertips. Yeah, we'll be going crazy. But until then, I'll be rational about it.
Yeah. I think kind of in terms of how I'm looking at it, I guess I should have been more clear in my question to you.
Oh, shoot, did I not do that well?
No, you're good.
Sorry.
I was kind of saying, what are your expectations in terms of a conclusion to the battle?
Oh, sure.
Is what I should have said. So I see people on Twitter and on message boards kind of saying, just go ahead and name the starter right now. Let's stop dragging this out. I would say no one should have the expectation to have any sort of quick conclusion to this battle, nor do you gain anything by having a quick conclusion. For one, let's play out the scenario that, let's say Caton Hauser wins the job and they name him the starter in 2 weeks. All that does kind of really is it just ends the battle sooner, takes away some competitive drive from probably the guys that lose the job, maybe to the point where they even exit in the portal spring window.
Yep.
So really there's not that much you get out of that. I guess same I guess if Peyton Thorne wins the job, it doesn't really help. Competition kind of gets ratcheted down. So now you take this all the way to August, and you have everyone battling to the absolute core of their abilities all the way through, and you get to see what everyone does after another summer working by themselves, working with teammates, throwing, timing, chemistry, all of that.
Yep.
You just get yourself more of a sample size to make sure you're making the right decision. Whether you announce the starter 2 weeks before the season, internally, obviously, I don't expect any sort of external announcement, or now, I don't think there's any benefit to doing it now. Do you agree with that, or is that not?
4 trillion% I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I could very well see this being what they did 2 years ago and bringing it all the way to kickoff of the Northwestern game where, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Thorne? Is it going to be Russo? And then, Thorne obviously wins the job. But, the first game, September 2nd, drag this out till September 1st for all I care. I mean, just like you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Yes, you do want some chemistry with the ones, but they are all getting equal reps. They all have been in this system for quite some time. It's not like you're getting a transfer who's meeting everyone for the first time here. I think everyone knows each other in that room. There's already some solid chemistry. I mean, you even saw Kate Hauser thrown with Keon in the offseason, and I'm sure that's not the only instance of that with the quarterback throwing to a receiver in the offseason. So I think that might be a little overrated as a reason why to wrap this thing up quick so we could get established rapport with the one, or the first string, I should say. But yeah, so drag this thing out.
It is a good point, though, by you to bring that up. Yeah. I shouldn't overlook that. That is something but I would say, like, whoever is leading, give them like 80% of the reps with the ones by the time you think that, hey, we have a leader here, even if you're not going to name it outright. So that is a good point. Reps with the ones is one thing that clarity will give you. It'll give the right guy the reps with the ones. So that's one bullet point. But other than that, I would say it doesn't matter when you announce it, really. But good point there. I guess, Matt, what else does your eye go to when you think of spring camp?
Offensively, I mean, it's really hard to not look at that giant glaring hole that Jaden Reed has left. And this is something that Jay Johnson spoke about the other day as well. He highlighted two guys, Montori Foster and then Christian Fitzpatrick as well. Do you lean one way or another? I mean, it's two good options. I mean, Montori Foster, good straight line speed downfield. Christian Fitzpatrick, 6'4", big body guy. Didn't really get to display a lot of that last year. He was hurt for most of the season, but I mean, those are two solid options. Of course, that's asking a lot to just step in for Jaden Reed. But, I mean, on the other side of the field, Keon Coleman's probably going to take another massive step forward. So it's not like, okay, these are the guys I have to plug in for Jaden Reed. Like, no, it's just supplemental for the offense, but still very important positions.
I think my read on that is when you have Montori Foster, and we've seen a little bit of him and how he tracks the ball, how he gets open deep down the field. If that's kind of your floor for that third receiver spot, you're in a good spot there.
Not bad.
Now, if Christian Fitzpatrick can beat him out, you're looking at a matchup problem where, sure, in the NFL, a team might have 2 corners on the outside with range and speed and can cover two big body guys. But in college, for the most part, you're probably not going to see that. So you have a 6'4" Keon Coleman on one side. What is Fitzpatrick listed at 6'4"? Is he even 6'5"?
Yeah, he's listed at 6'4".
6'4". Okay,
we can give him some tall cleats though. That's okay.
So you got two of those guys on the outside, and they're legit 6'4" at least. I think you have a big matchup problem at one of those two spots. So I'm intrigued by the idea of Christian Fitzpatrick. His brother Dez was very successful at Louisville. I don't know if he stuck with the Cowboys, but I know he was on their training camp roster and their preseason roster when he came into the NFL. But he's a guy that if he can hit that ceiling that he has, Michigan State could have something there. And, hey, if not, Montori Foster is there. And Tyrell Henry, I know, is making some strides behind the scenes. So it's interesting, very interesting, the options they have there.
I'm excited for Tyrell Henry in the return game really quick. Just want to plug that. I mean, I can't overstate that enough. He had some opportunities last year, and I just loved his vision. I mean, especially as young as a player as he was in the college game, I think another year will bode even more well for him. I know that Jaden Reed is a massive, massive guy to step in for in that role. So everyone be a little patient, but like, I still think he will be far beyond like an above-average returner.
Speaking of return game, Justin White, before he transferred to Michigan State,
I like this.
Back when he was on the West Coast, he was an electric punt returner.
Okay.
So we'll see if we see some of that. They didn't need it last year because Jaden Reed was the guy back there, but we'll see. I haven't heard anything about that being a plausible sort of a scenario. But why not? Is my take on it. He was that good at it out in the West Coast. So
speaking of West Coast kickoff return guys, Jalen Barberin as well, the guy that ran like a 7.1 in the 100-meter dash. Like, let's see. This is great. It is not even April, and we are getting into the nitty gritty of who could be the backup kickoff returner for this team. God, I love this. We're so back. We're so back. Anything on the defensive side of the ball catch your eye by any chance for position battles? Because a lot of these are kind of set in stone, but still with a lot of new-ish names, guys that took over for injured players last year. But
the overall number one theme that sticks out to me about the Michigan State defense is the 2022 defensive back class. And I guess I shouldn't say the hit rate is high yet because most of the guys haven't really done anything yet. But the way they're projecting, the way their careers are projecting, I think that's extremely promising. I'm already hearing good things about Malik Spencer.
Okay.
We didn't get to see him a lot early in the season. I think he was a little banged up, but we got to see him towards the end. I believe he played quite a bit in the Illinois game. So he's a guy that's going to have a very promising career here from the sounds of it. We already saw Jaden Mangum last year. He was the first guy coming in when Xavier Henderson got hurt. Those two guys right now, if they do not get a portal safety in the spring window, those two I would expect to probably be the starting safeties. And one of them as a true sophomore, the other one as a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
Great youth, great hit rate in the 2022 DB class in that regard already. Then a little longer out, some of these guys may not start this year. Maybe they will, but Dylan Tatum at nickel, Caleb Coley at corner, Malcolm Jones maybe at nickel or outside corner. So those 5 guys right there from that class, just very exciting. Heard good things about all of them in spring already. And we'll see how many of them are the starters, how many of them are in the 2 deep, how many of them it might take another year. But those guys right there, that core defensive backfield from the 2022 class, we're going to look back at that and say that's kind of the first step of Michigan State's homegrown talent under Mel Tucker, not needing the portal, where an entire class kind of just filled out the whole back half of the defense. That's kind of where I projected in a year or two. And some of those guys, maybe even this year.
Oh, let's go. There we go. Love it. Also, kicker is where I have my eye as well. I don't care if you got to have 58 people out there just taking kicks. Just go to the nearest frat, say, hey, who's the 2 best kickers here? Get them out for practice as well. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of position battles need to be sorted out here in the next. Well, I was going to say in the next weeks, but no, not really. Like, you still do have that August period as well to sort some out. But like, let's get a good head start. And well, speaking of a head start too, it is nice that this team is actually healthy in the spring, which oddly enough, you don't hear that a lot. That hey, we're actually dealing with a lot of health issues right now in the spring. But as we all remember, that was the case last year. So it's nice that they have more than 4 healthy offensive linemen for the spring. I don't know. I'm not the smartest tool in the toolbox, but I think that sharpest tool in the toolbox. How about that?
That's what it is. Yeah.
See, I just proved it right there that I'm not. I think having more than 4 healthy offensive linemen could help you.
Yeah.
Could help you. Call me old-fashioned.
The depth just a year later at offensive line is off the charts because first of all those guys some that didn't even enroll by that point last year, the 2022 signees that came in the summer, they weren't there last year, first of all.
Sure, right.
The ones that were there, they were there for like a month. They couldn't contribute much. Now you have those guys in the fold, and you have the 2023 signees who came in probably more ahead of the curve than any Michigan State offensive lineman in recent years. Stan Ramel, we know how he dominated at the Under Armour All-American game practices.
Yep.
That's been reported by neutral guys all over the recruiting industry. You're looking at a JUCO guy in Keyshawn Blackstock. Cole Dellinger was pretty refined as it was. So suddenly there's tons of depth in the O-line room. Pretty good talent as well. You have Duplain, Samac returning, obviously. You have guys all over. You have Gino Vandermark and Kevin Wigginton and Gavin Brocious and Chris Phillips battling for that right guard spot, really. So Brandon Baldwin returning at tackle, Spencer Brown returning at tackle. This is the most promising the Michigan State offensive line has looked in a long time. And I guess we'll see how that translates on the field this year, because the starter level of that offensive line might not be elite. I don't know if you have multiple all Big Ten guys there, but the depth and the future and the potential there of what that room could look like, to me, might be the most exciting part of the current Michigan State roster.
Love it. There we go. Do you want to talk about the future of offensive line right now? Do you want to dive into your recruiting roundup right now?
Right. Yeah, we can do that.
Nuts.
Yeah. So
I just got notes in front of me. That's
so
all. Yeah.
Probably not the best news, but Michigan State's longtime quarterback target, Jake Merklinger, will be committing tomorrow. I believe it'll most likely be Tennessee. That's what my crystal ball picture. Yeah, I just had to.
I know you have to do that. I don't have to though. It's Tennessee. Like I'll say it. Yeah, you be diplomatic over there. I'll just shoot you straight over here.
Sounds like a plan. So my crystal ball of 9 left a lot of room for uncertainty, as it was. So.
I don't know, it was 9. Okay, wow, he's already at Tennessee in that case.
But yeah, so that's a recruitment that Michigan State obviously undeniably put a lot of effort into, and it was a player that they would have liked to have had. However, Matt.
Okay.
History, track records.
Sure.
The last 2 classes have shown us Jay Johnson, if he does not land his first choice quarterback such as A.J. Duffy in the 2021 class.
Sure. Wow.
Or
that's a deep cut. Yeah.
Or one of his first choice quarterbacks in Bo Edmondson doesn't project throughout his senior year the way you would expect. And he has to go back to the drawing board for a variety of reasons. He gets Kaden Hauser and he gets Sam Levitt.
I would say that's okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's okay.
So, again, granted, one of these times you do want to eventually land that guy that you were first on, because Michigan State was Jake Merklinger's first offer. And that has been something that Coach Johnson has been good at his entire time here, finding the guy. Even if you can't land him, you'd have to put someone in the NFL before you can actually finally land one of those guys. So I'm not really holding that against him. But Cade Klubnik, I believe he was a second offer.
Gotcha.
There was 4 or 5 other quarterbacks that I've written about before that Jay Johnson was one of their first 3 offers. They were unranked. They ended up being top 150 guys, Elite 11 guys. Jay can find guys with the best of them.
Yeah.
And he's landing guys that are just below that, I would say, in Hauser and Leavitt and some of these guys on paper on recruiting. Now we'll see what they develop into. That's kind of where the real coaches separate themselves. But if there was a position where Michigan State was going to lose a target and lost them much earlier than Jay has typically had to pivot, giving him much more time, it would be here. So we'll see what he can do. He's earned the goodwill with his past two pivots, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm not full DEFCON 1 over it. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it is a bummer, but like I'm not freaking out. Just 3 steps here. 1, okay, you have 2 good quarterbacks already in the room: Kaden Hauser, Sam Levitt. All right, number 2, just like what you said, he's a good evaluator. He can find someone late in the game, and also, like step 3, if you really want to get desperate, hey, do you know what's a position that is famously always in the portal with former 5-star and 4-star athletes? That would be the quarterback position. So if you really have to get down to the nitty-gritty later on, I mean, hopefully it's not where you have to go, but it's not the worst option out there. I mean, how many times have we seen programs not just do it, but do it and be successful as well? So it is what it is. Best of luck to him. Go get him down at Knoxville and all that good stuff. Because we're friendly on this podcast.
Not like there's anyone ahead of him, that might get every benefit of the doubt down there. And no $8 million quarterback, but
I can't think of anyone.
Hey, I mean, the competitive spirit is admirable, and wishing the best for Jake. And if that is his choice, and good offense down there, so we'll see what happens.
Speaking of competitive spirit, I like that segue you set up for me. Are you ready to go for 3 in a row in 2 are facts, 1 is whack?
I am starting to believe.
Okay. Well, we're going to go back to the basketball court for this one as well. Okay, so this has to do with a lot of stats at the end of the year as well, tying it into also teams of the past, perhaps, with the first statement. Hey, if you're new to the show, welcome. What an episode to join us in. 3 statements will be read. 2 are facts, 1 is whack. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Statement number 1, pretty easy. All right. No freshman this year played all 34 games for MSU this season. No freshman played all 34 games for MSU this season. Statement number 2. This is the 3rd time in the last 5 years MSU had 3 players shooting over 39% from three-point land. And this is the 3rd time in the last 5 years that MSU has had 3 players shoot over 39% from 3. This is amongst guys taking 1 attempt per game. So, for example,
Nick Ward 5 years ago when
that's kind of what I'm talking about.
For that,
correct. We're not going to count that. Like, you have to be somewhat of a 3-point shooter.
Right.
Statement number 3: this season was MSU's best team free throw percentage in the last 17 years.
17 is a lot of years.
That is a lot of years. Are you even 17? Were you even
just ahead?
Just in the cutoff. There
24.
We go. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Barely. All right. 2 of those were facts, Justin. 1 of them was whack. Are you gonna get 3 in a row? You think?
I'm not so sure.
Okay.
But
good. There we go.
What was the first one was
no freshman.
That one is true, I believe. I'm not locking that in. I'm just thinking aloud. I know for sure that Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler did not play in all 34 games, most likely. Now, I probably shouldn't say for sure, because now that facial expression is making it sound like I'm down the wrong road. But so,
who's to say?
I would say, again, not locking this in. The second one seems to me, tentatively, to be the one that is whack, because some of those teams, especially that Aaron Henry team, that kind of is one of those seasons where I would say, hey, there probably weren't 3. Both of those kind of teams after Cassius left. So that kind of gives you very little margin for error with the 2 teams before that, along with this year's team. Free throw shooting wise, I know towards the end they kind of took a dip. I think they ended in the 50s or 60s, but you know what? I'm gonna say that's the one that's whack. They had to have had a team where they finished in the top 50 in free throw shooting in the last 17 years.
So the free throw shooting is whack. Is that your guess?
That's my guess.
What a run it was. 2 in a row. That's okay.
Was it the middle one that was whack?
No, it was the first one.
Really?
That no freshman played all 34 games for MSU this season. Trey and Jackson both did play all 34 games. Yeah, that's what ESPN.com is telling me, at least. If you can find any game tape where neither took the court. But yes, they did play in all 34 games this season. Statement number 2 was true. This was the third time in the last 5 years MSU had 3 guys over 39% from 3. It was Akins, Walker, Hauser. And then last season, they had 4 guys do this. Marcus Bingham, Malik Hall, Tyson Walker, Joey Hauser. And then the 18-19 season, you had Langford, McQuaid, and Winston all shooting above 39%. The third statement, the free throw one, that was true as well. They shot 75.9% from the stripe. That is the best since the 2005-2006 season. In that season, they were just a tick over 76%. So this was a banner year for them at the free throw line. I believe they were ranked 40 in the nation this year. So that's
I think they were 47th before the tournament started. And then the USC game took them down a few spots, and then I don't think I checked that.
I think the Kansas State game, they shot it really well too. So that probably helps.
Good
things.
point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So
now I have fallen to 2-7 for those that are watching for the first time.
I feel like that sometimes. But hey, those 2 were fun.
Yeah.
Those 2 were fun. Good for you. Should we get the heat off of us? Should we bounce into Owen for our Spartan Dog of the Week? That's right. Usually it's us doing Spartan Dog of the Week, but no. We're having the man with the $1 million face do it this week. Let's go, baby. Take us to church, Owen.
All right. Well, it's officially spring season now with Michigan State basketball being done, and MSU baseball has been absolutely hitting the cover off the baseball. They're on a 3-game winning streak at the moment. On Sunday, they played a doubleheader against Purdue. They won both games 5-4 and then 12-6. They went to Kalamazoo yesterday and beat Western Michigan 8-6. And just I want to run through some of the offensive stats for Michigan State right now. I don't know how familiar you guys are with baseball, but Brock Freidenberg, he's batting .451. He's started in every single game. He has 6 home runs, 31 RBIs. Jack Frank, he homered yesterday, 4 home runs, 20 RBIs. He's batting just below 300. Sam Bush, he's batting .333, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs. Dylan Carr, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. Just about everyone up and down the lineup. And then, of course, we've got future Major League player, possibly Mitch Jebb, who's going to be going in the draft, 11 RBIs, batting .329. He is 9 for 10 stolen bases. Just about every starter on Michigan State has been absolutely hitting the baseball out of the park and just been all over the place. So we'll see if that continues, but it's definitely a reassuring sign. So they definitely deserve Spartan Dog of the Week.
Love to hear it. Thanks, Owen. That's good to hear.
451 batting average. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's okay. That
kind of start intentional walking the guy after that.
They do. They have been. So.
Why not? Yeah.
There you go.
Let's cut to the chase. He's getting on base anyway, it sounds like. So, there we go.
Yeah.
Love him, man. Hey, Owen, thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate it, Owen.
Owen always delivers. Never on schedule, always on time, though. He's the man. Owen is the hardest working man in East Lansing.
Yep.
No question about it. So.
Got all the sports covered.
All of the sports covered. And do we cover everything, too?
I believe so.
Oh, God, that's it. That's the end.
Yeah. I think that kind of puts a bow on the show. Opening days tomorrow, Matt. You excited for the Tigers?
No. I used to love baseball. I used to love the Tigers, and now the Detroit Tigers have taken my love of baseball away from me. That's how miserable the last 7 years have been. We don't have time to get into all this right now. This would take another hour of therapy if I really wanted to unload everything. But no one cares. No one cares how I feel. I just know that I'm not ready for baseball. And
not taking a day off to go down to Comerica Park, or actually, if they're away, then the away stadium in that case. I take it.
Yeah, no, they're at Tampa tomorrow. Should go great. Yeah, it's gonna be. Go Tigers! Go get. No, this is why I need spring ball in my life. Just to have a distraction.
I was the same way from about 2013.
Yeah.
Actually, I should say 2011 when Ryan Howard tore his Achilles running to first base on the Phillies' final playoff appearance.
That's a tough. Yeah.
In 2011, all the way until probably the day that Bryce Harper signed with the Phillies. I was out on baseball for like 6 years.
I don't blame you.
Forgot most of the people in the league. But then at the same time, it's baseball, so there's longevity.
Yeah.
And you turn on the sport, and you still have like Jed Lowry playing for the Red Sox.
Sure.
Like 10 years after you last watched the sport.
Bobby
You're like,
Abreu
hey.
still in the Phillies. Yeah, right. It's great. It's awesome.
So there was some familiarity. But now I'm all the way back in, and I'm excited to watch the Phillies defend the National League pennant this year on the way to winning the World Series this October. So
I'm rooting for you guys. Phillies are a very fun team, I got to say. Like, I found myself rooting for you guys in October. Not just to pander right to you. I genuinely mean that. But, yeah, like, go get them Tigers. Like, you wonder why my hairline is like so horrible. It's because like I've had to deal with these guys for the last however many years. I don't know what was worse either. Like the last 7 years of just drivel, or that 10-year World Series window where they never actually got it done. I don't know what was more painstaking. Would you rather be that close to the end zone and just keep on fumbling the ball on the 1 yard line, or would you rather just be in parking lot K, not even in the stadium of your dreams? Like I don't know. Luckily, we've gotten to experience both, and they're both terrible. So no, thanks for the question, Justin. Yeah. I'm thrilled for Tigers baseball.
Well, Matt, you guys have the farm system to look forward. Oh, never mind. And with that,
I'm gonna punch him in the throat once we're done recording. So
with that does put a bow on this week's episode of the SD4L show, and we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.